friends, it's Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. We are going to make this very, very simple yet beautiful reversible brimmed beanie. I had to think about that for a second. It's a reversible brimmed beanie, and you can wear it with a pom-pom on both sides. It's a removable pom-pom, or wear it without a pom-pom. You can wear it with the brim folded up, or you can wear it as a slouchy beanie on both sides. So you have lots of options there, and it's so fun to make. I am using my bulky knitting machine, my SK155 bulky knitting machine, and I'm using loops and thread yarn. It's a medium 4-weight yarn, and I will have the description, I will have the yarn particulars in the description box below, so please have a look there. And you know, I am fairly new to the machine knitting world, the flatbed machine knitting world that is, and so I am learning new things all the time, and when I figure something out, then I want to share it with you. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of my community, and I hope that I can help some of you out there as well, and that we can learn and grow together on our love for flatbed knitting machines. So thanks again for joining me, and do remember to hit that thumbs up. I would appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so as well. That would be wonderful. And a link to my Facebook group will be in the description box below. All right, friends, let's get started. All right, friends, we are going to give this a go in hopes that my camera is angled properly and that you can see well. That's the hardest part about making a video, to be honest with you. But I'm going to start with the carriage, and we are going to set our tension to 5. Our lever here is on stockinette, and we don't need our brushes, so those can be up. You're going to want to make sure that your side levers here are on the 0. We're not doing any patterning, and that's what those triangles are for. And we want our Russell levers on Roman numeral number 2. Number 1 is for hold position, and we're not going to use that for this particular project. So it's very simple and basic carriage setup, and we're going to make sure our counter is set to 0. However, I'm going to set that again to 0 after we do our cast on row, so it really doesn't matter, but there we go. On the patterning card here, we don't need this set up, so you're going to make sure that's on 0 as well, so that that's off. And then the next thing we need to do is pull out our needles. Now for me, for my head size, a woman's small, medium head size, we're going to do 39 needles on either side. So I'm going to pull out 39 needles, that's 40. 39 needles on the right side of 0 and 39 on the left side. You don't see it in the camera, but just trust me, I'm doing 39 and 39. So 78 needles. If you want it a little bit wider, you go ahead and add a needle on either side, or 2 needles on either side, and you can do that too. Based on the swatch that you made or previous beanies that you've made, you will know the size that you need. All right, friends, so once you have your needle selection chosen, the number of needles that you want, we're going to then start our beanie with an E-wrap cast on. Now some of you might be saying, why aren't you doing waste yarn and a ravel cord, and then you have those loops that you can draw your your needle through to make a drawstring cord at the end. But this is the reason why. I met this lady online on my Facebook group and YouTube, Margaret Gray, who said, why don't you do the E-wrap, and then you can draw your loops through there. And it saves having to do waste yarn and using a ravel cord. Now I did it on my last beanie on my channel, and I think it works fantastic. So I am going to continue doing that on the beanies that I make. So what I'm doing now, so thank you, Margaret. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a slip knot. She also said to keep this in your tensioner, or in your guide, in your carriage, but I'm going to do it this way, just so that the yarn tail isn't in the camera way. But if you have this fed through your yarn feeder and you do it, it helps to hold your yarn out of your way as well. But I put that little slip knot on the first needle here, and then we're going to go up onto the right side of the next needle, go over the top and down on the left. You see that I have my thumb over the strand that's underneath, and that helps me to control the tension. Pull your thumb out, then repeat the process. I am not pulling this really tight like that, or it'll be very hard for me to get my first row done, but it'll also make it harder for me to find the loops when I want to put a drawstring strand through it at the end. All right, so I'm leaving it fairly loose. So third needle we're on, we're going to go up on the right side of that needle, over the top and down on the left, guiding it with my thumb underneath. Just like that, on the right side of the needle, over the top and down on the left. This is an E-wrap. I'm going to E-wrap cast on all the way down the bed. 78 needles. Push those in and that helps. All right. So I hope this yarn strand here isn't in the view of the camera. If it, I'm going to edit it, and if it is, I'll have to redo it and show you. You know, when we're doing videos, any YouTuber will tell you, you see the one take, sometimes it takes many because of the angle of the camera, etc., etc. Making a video is not as easy as what it appears to be for you when you're watching the video. You see the final edited result, but I'm happy to do it for you, and I'm having much joy in learning this machine. So I am going to go right across. Just going to let that hang there. And when I get to the end, I will move my camera and meet you back. I have made it to my last needle. Now I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to feed it into the yarn feeder. Right like that. And I'm going to set my row counter to 0. Don't count this cast on row as a row. And we are going to begin. I have it in stockinette and on tension 5. I want to make sure that my needles stay out in D position because I have no weights on there to help pull down that first little cast on row, and I'm going to knit across. I always pull up a little bit just to give it a little bit of tension until that first needle catches. And then I'm going to go all the way across. Just like that. All right, so we have row 1 completed on our counter, and I am going to pull out my needles, all of them. Let me see where my camera is. Such a pain. I'm going to pull out all my needles because I'm not going to hang my weights yet. I'm going to pull them all out, so I'm going to use my thumb and my palm of my hand to hold my stitches against the needle bed as I pull all the needles out. I do this for the first, well, let's be honest, about 4 rows, 5 rows even, before I hang my weights. So there we go. I have my needles pulled out, which is going to allow me to knit back without any problem. There we go. That's row 2. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pull them all out. I'll do it for 4 rows. I'm trying to keep my gray hair out of the out of the camera. I'm embracing 60. I'm going to let my hair go to its natural color, and I'm loving it so far, but it's not nice when you see it on the camera. All right, so we're going to go back. This is 3. Do it one more time. And now you can hang your weights. Now you can use your choice of whatever weights you like. I have a variety of different weights, but I tend to jump to these ones. I really, really like them. And so I'm going to hang that, making sure that that last loop gets caught. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end, which you can't see in the camera, but I'm doing exactly what I just did on the other side. Then I have 2 more. I'm going to evenly space those between the 2 end weights. All right. Now what I do is for the first, now let's say the first 5 rows after that, is I pull out the end needle. I don't know, it's just a habit that I do. I want to make sure that the beginning stitches of my project are knit well, and because there's, you know, the weights help, but I just do it for maybe 4 rows. So pull out the end needles, and it helps for the row to get a good start and a good end. And I'm going to do that again. And again, and then I can sail. And after, there we go. And now I have 7 rows on my counter, and I'm going to do 70 rows of this inside color before I start my brim color. All right, so I'm gonna keep knitting till I have 70 rows, and then I'll explain to you the next part. But after every 15 or so rows, I'm going to move my weights up, and every time I move my weights up, I then pull out this first needle for the first row after I move my weights up. Again, just a habit, but I always have nice edges, so I think it makes a difference. So I'm going to knit maybe 15 more rows, and then I'm going to move my weights up. I'm going to stop at 14 just so that I don't have my carriage in the way here. I'm going to move that up. Pull out that last needle, or even a second one, doesn't matter. But for sure the first one. I'm going to move these weights up. Pull out those needles, or that last needle, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to repeat that until I get to row 70. All right, have fun, friends. I'll see you when I get there, and enjoy the process. We have made it to row 70. I've completed 70 rows. I'm going to go ahead and move my weights up. If you hear banging outside, the neighbors are getting their roof done. There's always something outside my window that's causing noise in my videos, but that's okay. Maybe you can't hear it. I'm going to pull those out. Now you have a choice to make, because this is the inside of our beanie. This is the main body part of our beanie. We are now going to do a fold over brim. Okay, so if you want the outside of your brim color to be solid, then you're going to continue this on, because now the next 20 rows is going to be folded to the outside, and then the rows after that are going to be folded to the inside on this color. So I want this solid color to be the brim for my outside part of my beanie. That's the reason why I stopped here, is so I could explain it to you. But I'm going to do 20 more rows in this color. I like a wide brim. We live in Manitoba, Canada. It gets very cold. And so I like to have a brim that is wide enough to go over my, fold up and go over my ears, and then I essentially have 4 layers. And it's perfect. So I'm going to knit another 20 rows as my outside brim color. It's being knit to the inside of my beanie, but it will fold over to the outside. So whatever color you want your outside brim to be, you might want it to be totally different color than the both choices that I've chosen here. Then you just go ahead and be you and choose your color. So what did I say? I was at 70. I'm going to do 20. I'm going to go to row 90. I have made it to row 90. I had to shut off my camera because my yarn decided to jump out of the bowl and roll off onto the floor. Oh, the joys. I'm removing my weights just for a second here. I guess I don't have to remove them all, but I'm going to remove them. So I'm going to change my color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my yarn tail here. I'm going to pull that out of the mask, because I don't know about you, but when I have two, when I'm using one color and I have the other one still in there, it somehow tends to always wrap around itself. And so I just take it out. I'm going to pull out just a handful of needles there, because I'm going to take this yarn tail and I'm going to weave it over and under and over and under. That way I don't have to tie it off and hide it later. Over and under, over and under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did 11 needles. Doesn't matter. About like that. Then I'm going to take a clip to hold this down so it doesn't get too loose and jump out of the way there. Then I'm going to take my other yarn, which I'm going to have a tail for this one, and I'll have to hide it, but that's okay. I'd rather hide one than two. And we are going to thread that into our tensioner there. I'm going to take another clip, hook it on the bottom, pop it into the yarn feeder here. Make sure it goes all the way to the back before you close your latch. Then I'm going to pull out my needles again, only because I'm changing yarn. And if the texture is a little bit different, I don't want it to mess up on any of the needles. So I'm going to pull it out. That's the reason why I took my weights off. All right, and then I'm going to knit 20 rows for the second half of the brim, so then I can explain it to those of you who are a little bit confused, if I've confused you at all. So we did 70 rows for the main body, then we did 20 rows for the first half of our brim. I'm going to do 20 rows of this variegated for the second half of my brim, so that when I have this color showing as my main color of my beanie, the brim will be from the variegated color. So I'm going to do another 20 rows. I've got one row done. I can go ahead, hang my weights. Actually, sorry, I'm going to just do one more row. I'm going to pull out these end needles, and I'll show you why. I'm going to just do one more row. Just like that, because then I'm going to pull out the needles here, and I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to hide it. Same way I hid the first tail. Just like that. Put a clip on it. This one I can cut off because it's already hid. Just like that, see? Tail done. And I'm going to keep going till I have 110 rows, which is 20 rows, the second half of my brim, taking me from row 90 to row 110. Once I go across, I can then be sure and hang my weights all the way across, as I showed you previously, and I'm going to continue on till row 110. I'll see you back. We have now completed our 40 rows for the brim. I'm going to move up my weights. I can go ahead and cut off this tail. Move my weights up. Now we are working on the outside body of our beanie. I'm going to pull out those needles on the end. We're working on the outside part of our beanie, and we have to match the count for this inside color. So you guessed it, we're going to do 70 rows, and that is going to take us to counter 180. All right, because we're on 110 now. We did 70 for the inside. We did 40 for the brim. That's 110. We need to now do 70 again till we get to 180. I'm going to keep doing that, moving my weights up every 15, 20 rows somewhere in there, and I'll see you when I get there. Have fun, friends. We have made it. So quick and easy and fun to do. Now, the thing about this pattern is you can make whatever size beanie you want using the same techniques. All you have to do is make a swatch at the beginning of your project, so you can measure how many stitches you need, how many needles you need per inch, and how many rows you need per inch. And then there's all kinds of charts on Google telling you how many inches you need for a adult beanie, like circumference around the head, how many you need for an infant, etc., etc. And you generally will figure it out so that your inches are at least, or so that your, for an adult hat, I want my circumference to be 1.5 inches to 2 inches smaller than what my head would measure. So that would give it some stretch when it's on, and that's how you do it for any size beanie, really. But this is for a adult beanie, or older child teen beanie. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Now we are going to take this off. And I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to use my double-eyed needle or my plastic needle. I find if I'm using a darning needle, plastic is better than metal because it'll bend a little bit when I try to get it in those stitches. I'll show you both ways, but I'm going to take my yarn out of the guide there, and I'm going to measure this 2 times the length of my piece. That should be plenty. I'm going to hang this. And then we are going to, I'll start with my double-eyed needle, and we're going to put this, thread it through here. Oops. Might have to grab my, there we go, my needle threader, but nope. There we go. Just want to untwist my yarn there so it's not all. There we go. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that one end, put it on your needle. I just hold this and give it some tension, pull down, and transfer it onto your needle, and then pull through. We're going to do a drawstring cast off. All right. Then go to the next one. Oops, that's the wrong one. It's this one. Pull it off and pull through. It's a little tricky when you have a long strand, but there you go. If you keep this on the inside of the gate pegs, it holds it on your it holds it onto the machine rather than letting the end drag as you take it off. But I'm going to do another one this way, and then another one. Pull it through. See, it's holding it on there so the end doesn't fall down and get in your way. And I'm just going to remove a couple more, and then I'll show you with the darning needle. See, if I go on the outside here, it would all drop because there's nothing holding it. So I'm going to just put it inside of the gate peg there and pull off. And pull through. Let's do one more. Now I'm going to switch to my darning needle in case you don't have one of these needles. I'm sure you do if you have this machine, but if you don't, or if you prefer to use a darning needle, you can do that. And again, a flexible one works better. And for that, I always pull a few out, then pull these loops forward, and then you go into the loop, into the loop, into the center of the loop, just like that. Pull through. And I generally will do 3 at a time. I pulled out 4 there, then I'm going to put that in between. I'm going to pull those 3 back. See how it then takes it off the gate pegs, and then it falls. But I'm going to just take 3, pull it through. So whichever way you prefer to do, and pull it out. You can maybe get into a few more. This might be a little bit faster. This is 4 and 5 I can get into. Nope, I'm gonna have to just do 4. Pull it through and release those. And there you go. You can just pick that up and put it on the gate peg if you like, just like that, if you need to have that support. And 1, 2, 3. Pull through and release. I'm going to go back to my double-eyed needle. I like them both, but I've been trying to get used to this needle a little bit more, so I'm using it. I like it actually. And we're going to go 1. You can pull through, bring it around so it holds it. Take the next one, bring it around. You can go pretty fast with this one too, actually. Not that we have to have speed all the time. We need to learn to slow down and not think we have to get everything done so quickly. I'm bad for that too. I like to start a project and see the finish sooner than I should, maybe expect to. Sometimes you just need to take your time and not worry about the clock. Just enjoy the process. Just like this. I'm going to do this all all the way down my needle bed until all of my needles are released. All right, friends, enjoy the process. I'll see you in a bit. Once that is finished, all you got to do is lift up on your piece and voila, you have it off. There we go. Your piece should look something like this. Let me grab this needle, take it out. We always want to stretch our work when it comes off the machine. So no matter what size it is, you're going to stretch it widthwise. It just softens up the rows, lines everything up, and just is what's needed. I got a little bit of a something happening there. Don't know what that is, but it's on the inside, so I'm going to leave it. Otherwise, I didn't catch it until it was too late, or I would have taken it back and redone it. This is for me, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if you follow my channel, you know I'm very particular with attention to detail. That normally wouldn't fly with me, but maybe once I stretch it out, it's going to be okay. All right, so we've got that good and stretched. And it's beautiful. I'm going to show you if I can find where I hid those yarn tails. I might have to check and see what that, but on my needles, and see if there's a needle that's kind of, it doesn't look bad on the front. Give that a little stretch and it probably would be fine, but I think it just snagged. I can actually see the strand that it snagged. Do I dare cut it? It's this little piece right there that snagged and pushed it all, but we'll see. It's good enough. It's great. All right, so I want to see, here's where I hid my tails, right here. Let's look at the other side. You can't tell at all. What a quick way of hiding tails. I hope you have done that with me, and look at up here too. I definitely have a needle that needs to be checked. So I am going to do that before I use my machine again and switch out my needle, and we shall be good. What we're going to do now is we are going to do the mattress stitch. We're going to put our piece so that the right side of your work is away from you. So this is the wrong side right here. We're going to grab a yarn tail that goes the length of our piece, about 1.5 times. I like to use my metal wool needles for this. They have a little loop at the back. This is the small one. I thought I'd show you the pack. Buy them on YouTube, and I will link them in the description box below, but there's 3 sizes in them. Actually got these ones from Walmart, but they're twice the price as you get them on on Amazon. You get 6 needles for the same price as you get 3 in Walmart. So I'll link them down below, and please click on one of my links before you purchase on Amazon. That helps to support my channel too, and you might want to grab some for yourself. But we are going to ignore this tail here. It'll get in our way for the first little bit. You can tuck it under there. You can even clip it if you need to, and get it out of the way. I will actually do that because yarn tails drive me nuts. I'm gonna just take this one, bring it over to the side here, and just clip it. And that way it doesn't get caught on my yarn tail here when I'm pulling through at the top here. And we're going to find our edge stitch here. I actually like to work right on the very edge row. And what we're going to do, but I'm going to show you on a row that's in a little bit further. You're going to find a row that has the wide part of the V going to the left. So here's the point, and it goes like this. All right. If that very edge stitch is too hard for you to get into, then just go over to the next row right there. You'll have a bit of a wider seam, but it's hidden anyways, and it's really not going to make a huge difference on the width of your beanie. As a matter of fact, just so that you can see the stitch better, I should probably do that with you, especially if you haven't done the mattress stitch a lot. And I'll deal with the little, I mean, you don't see it anyways, but this beanie will still fit me if I do it. But what you can do is just add an extra needle or two to your width of your beanie if you know you're going to go into a row that's a little bit further in. But generally I will try to pick up this very edge one, just like that. But for your benefit, I'm going to go in one row. So here is the wide part of the stitch, and the narrow part, the V, is down at the base. I'm going to go into the very first one that I can see, and I'm going to, into the center of that stitch, I'm going to pick up the bar underneath, and then the next one. Pick up 2 bars, pull through. You don't have to pull it all the way through yet, because we can do that in once we have a few stitches on. I'm going to go to the next side, do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go, here's the wide part of the stitch is going to the left. I'm going to go up into this first one. I'm going to pick up 1 and 2 bars. Now some people do it with the narrow part of the stitch going to the left, but I just think that it's easier. This is my preference. You're going to go in where you came out on this side. So here's where I came out. You can see that strand, and I'm going to pick up 2 stitches. 1, 2, go through. Go to the other side. Here's where I came out. Pick up 2 bars. You know, in my Facebook group, I've had comments before, and even comments underneath the YouTube videos that I've done. I can't stay on the same row, and people will put pins across like this all the way down so they can stay on the same row. But I honestly don't understand that, because if you go where it came out, just look for where that strand is coming out and go into that same space, you will automatically stay on the same row, and you're focused on the fact that the stitch, if you go in here and then you pick up here, you know the point of the stitch is going to the left, you're in the wrong row. So, or same with there, and you'll notice it if you go one full strand over. So go in where your strand came out, pick up 1, 2. Very easy to stay on the same row if you focus on a small section. All right, I'm going to pick up 2. I don't have to pull that tight yet. You can see I've got the strands there. I'm keeping it loose so you can see. And I'm going to pick up 2. And you see that clip kept me from getting my strand all caught around it, even though, no, that's the end of this one. All right, it's pulling it over the edge of the table though, because it's heavy. So I'm coming out this end, so I'm going to go into this end. I'm going to do a few more for you, and then we're going to pull it tight. I'm going to pick up 2. Now my clip's getting in the way. Oh well, it's fun. It's par for the course. And we're going to go in where we came out and pick up 2. And then I'm going to take both ends, and I'm going to pull them away from each other, both ends of my tail. And you see how that pulled it all together and it kept in line. So here is the one row with the wide part of the V to the left. Here's the next one. Wide part of the V is to the left. That's what we just created. And then the next one. So you're getting a row that falls in line with all the other rows when you do it that way. All right, so I'm going to pull this through even further, because I don't need a really long tail now. I can take this one off because I'm farther enough down that it's not going to get too much in my way. And we're going to continue that all the way down our piece. Once you pull it tight, you might have a little bit of a hard time finding that last stitch that you were in, but just take your time, because you can see the strand is right there, and that's generally where you'll mess up and go off the row if you're gonna go off the row. All right, here it is. I'm gonna pick it up, take 2. And as your strand gets shorter, you can go a lot faster because it's not getting in your way. And I'm just going to continue with you until I get a little further down so we can pull it again. I can show you what I do. When it's sitting on your lap and not a foot away from your body like mine is, you can get it done a little bit quicker. But you're going to go down about 10 stitches or so. Then you can pinch where you left off last time and pull. And it will then pull that section. Or until you get partway down, you can just keep pulling the two end tails away from each other, and it will work that way too. But I would suggest that you only go down maybe 10 or 12 stitches before you pull it tight, because otherwise then if it gets too long in there before you pull it, it snags and you'll have a funny looking edge. This, we're not going to even hardly see that edge when we're done. So I'm going to do that all the way down my piece. All right, so take your time, enjoy the process, and I'll see you when your tube is all connected. Here's a little tip for you. When you pull it and get it tight, if you pull too tight, you gather in here, and you might have the slightest gather in there that you aren't even aware of, and all the little gathers will take away from your attention to detail. So whenever you tighten it, take your end and just pull it away like that, and make sure that it's nice and straight and that there's no gathering even to a little bit in your seam. All right, okay, that's it for me. I'll see you when I get to the end. I'm getting near the end. And I'm picking up two, picking up two. Oh, the sun is going behind a cloud. That might make the brightness of the video screen a little bit less, but hopefully it's still manageable. There we go. Into as far up as I want to go. I get almost to the top, one stitch below. And then I'm going to pinch and pull. I want to then take a look at my piece. Make sure, oops, I better get this out of the way. Make sure that there's no gathers in there at all. And then I'm going to right away get rid of this tail. There's my seam on the inside. I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to weave it down into that seam just to get it out of the way. You don't want it to interfere with your drawstring there. I'm just going to go down a little bit further. You don't have to tie a knot. You can just hide it good and proper. And come back up. You're not going to see this. Then I'm going to go back down. I'm going to do that with the other side as well. Just get rid of my tail so it's out of my way. If you did not hide your tails on your machine, as I showed you, then make sure you go to the inside and you tie your joins off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, make sure that you grab the whichever one it was. Not that it matters, because actually it doesn't matter, because we're going to put a drawstring in there. Tie these two together. And I'm just going to cut this off to be a little bit shorter. You can just tuck this in, but we don't want it to get tangled with our drawstring that we're going to put on there. So I'm going to actually weave it in both of these ends, just as I did the other one, and come up and go down. Keep it out of the way. Just like that, give that a snip. Now you're going to grab a piece of yarn that goes around this piece 1.5 times. Where is my yarn ball? There we go. Now had I used waste yarn and a ravel cord, I would have been able to see these loops right here. You would have been able to see those against your waste yarn a little bit easier, but it's just so not hard to see that there's no point doing waste yarn. So I'm going to just get underneath that loop and then go into the next one, into the next one, just weave back and forth just like that. And that is going to form my drawstring. Very, very simple. And there we go. In, and there we go. You can see those little loops. They just, I'll show you 1 second here. They're these ones here that go at an angle, and I'm just weaving in and out of them. And I'm going to be able to join this without any problem. I don't have to worry about waste yarn and ravel cord. I just have to take the time to put well, you have to anyways. If you use waste yarn, you still have to put this drawstring cord in. So there we go. I'm going to do that all the way around till I meet the beginning tail. I have made it all the way around, but I want to just catch a loop. This is just the edge of a stitch on the row, just so it's closer to that first stitch there, and then I'm going to just grab the leg of this next one right there, just so I'm close to it and there's no big gaps. Then I'm going to just take that off my needle. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter just for now, not really short, but just a little bit. I'm not going to pull that tight yet. What I want to do is I want to put my hand inside my tube, grab the end, the other end, and pull it through. I want to line up my seams just so it's not twisted. So that's why I do it this way before I do anything else. And then you're going to just smooth it out. Just like that. We're going to take the inside one, then you can just bring that down just a little bit so we can work on the inside one. I just wanted to make sure they were lined up properly. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull this yarn tail, smoothing this out as we go. Take your time. You don't want it to be all bunched up. You want it as smooth as possible. You can cut this off a little bit as you go so that the length doesn't get in your way. And pull. Make sure you don't pull so tight that you bust your yarn, because it can break. Your strength is more than you think, and you can break it pretty easily. So when you get it as closed as much as you can by just slightly pulling on it like that, you're just going to go around the top row of stitches. If you just smooth it out like that, you can see there's the loops right there. Just get under there the best that you can. These small metal wool needles work like a charm. When you're pulling the yarn tail through anything that you're doing, don't pull the needle so that you get a lot of stress on that loop. You want to hold your yarn tail. Otherwise your loops are going to break and your needles are not going to last you very long. So there's a little tip for you that you might think is common sense, but trust me, I've snapped a few of them myself just by not thinking about it. And then you pull. And you smooth that out. You get under a few more stitches. If you miss a couple, that's okay. You just want to try to get all the way around. Pull through and pull. And a little bit more will get me the result that I want. Right in there like that. And pull. And I'm going to knot this off. I'm going to leave that tail. I'm going to pull that knot down with my thumb now. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to leave the tail because we need it to tie to the outside tail. There we go. Leave it on the outside. Take your other one. And you're going to do the same thing. Remembering that if you pull this too hard, you'll pull this one right out because you have two ends now. So you're going to do the same thing. Pull that tight. Smooth it out. And go around, reinforce the top. I'm going to take these two and I'm going to tie a knot just so that I can get rid of one. And to get rid of one, all you got to do is pop that on your needle. Put it on the inside, pull it out the side, and cut it off. And that end will stay inside of there. Now I'm going to put this one on my needle, and I'm going to reinforce that end just like I did the other one till it's tight. All right, go ahead and do that. These loops are easier to see because they're on the right side of the fabric. The other ones are on the back side. Get that yarn tail out of the way. Seems like a lot of bulk, but it's really not. And once you wear the beanie for a while, as you know, the yarn just softens up and falls a little bit better. So you got to give it time to relax. What I like to do, and what I generally always do with my beanies when I'm finished making them, whether it's on the flatbed here or on my circular knitting machine, is I put them on a men's styrofoam head. It's bigger than the ladies' styrofoam head. I put them on the men's head for the night, and that just relaxes all the stitches, and it is surprising how much more width you get out of your beanie. All right, so I'm going to tie this off, pull that down with my thumbnail. Just like that. Then I'm going to take this inside one, pull it up as hard as I can without breaking it, so it's right close to the top one here. It's easier if they're a little shorter. We're going to tie these two really snugly together. I like to do 3. Pop those back on your needle. Put them in between your layers. Pull through and cut off. Lift up on that to get that in there, and there you go, folks. We have made a beautiful beanie. This is the inside. Well, it's reversible, but we'll call it the inside so you know what we're referring to. And you roll that up. Isn't that pretty? These colors are so beautiful. That's the one side, and you can go ahead and add a pom-pom, which I will show you how I do that in a second, or turn it around the other way. And again, these colors are so beautiful. I'm going to roll that up, and you get the solid brim. There we go. So what I do for a pom-pom is, I'm going to measure this for you in 1 second, so stick with me. I take my little pom-pom holder, which I made. I have a tutorial just recently done on my tutorial. They're very, very simple, but so cost effective. And I make them out of a cutting board that I get from Dollarama. And then we're going to pop this in here through the top. I also bought these jumbo pom-poms at Michael's with a 40% off coupon. I got a white one and a black one, but I'm going to go back and get a gray one. And as many as I want to get. Every time I go, I'll get one because then I get a coupon. I'm going to put that on those little nooks there that I cut out. I'm going to wrap it around. These ones have a wide elastic, so you can, well, can I get it 3 times? Yes, I can. 3 times. Oops. Let's do that again. Hold this down closer to the beanie like that, then you just wrap one end around, just like that. See how much easier that was? And then you just lay it in there, and you've got a beautiful pom-pom holder. There's my pom-pom. Very nice, warm beanie. Now all I have to do is take it off and put it on the other side, if that's what I choose to do, but I'm going to show you the length of this with the brim. Fold it up. Let's say it's about there. You guys, it's exactly 9.5. Little 9 3/4. So doing a gauge swatch makes a difference. You got to do it. Okay, inserting this measurement because I forgot to show you this measurement. It is 9.5 across, so that's, you double that. So that's 19 inches, which is the perfect width, because the adult head is between 21 and 22 inches circumference. This is like 9 3/4, so 19.5 inches, whatever. And you want it to be up to 2 inches narrower on the circumference because of the stretch that it has. So this beanie measured perfectly. And why? Because I did a swatch. I'm so proud of myself. Anyways, on to the next part of the clip. Here it is if you want a slouchy brimless beanie. It will be 13 1/4 inches long. Love it. Love it. Because that's how you'd wear it as a slouchy beanie. So lots of options. You can wear it with the brim this way or without a brim and wear it slouchy. You can go ahead and take the pom-pom off. It's so easy to do. And switch it around. Wear this as a solid slouchy beanie. Roll up the brim. And wear either one of them with or without a pom-pom. So there you go. You got options. I'm going to pull that through. Get in there. And for the smaller pom-poms that you buy on Amazon, the Faux Fur Pom Poms, you wrap it around twice. So again, I'm going to pull up on that till it's tight. Then I'm going to take this down so that nook there goes down close to the beanie. Then I can hold it with my thumb and then I can wrap the one end around it. When I was first doing it, I was wrapping both ends. And there we go. Very easy, nice and secure. Don't forget to blow dry your pom-poms. If you think this looks pretty, wait till I blow dry it for 10-15 seconds on high heat. Then it's gorgeous. All right, so make sure you always do that as well, especially if you're displaying your hats in a craft show. You want to put them out, blow dry your pom-poms, and seriously, they just look so much better. There we go. Oh, loving it. I just love this beanie. I love the yarn colors. I love everything about it. I hope that you do as well. And if you used my video to make a reversible brimmed beanie, then please, friends, show me in my Facebook group. I would love to see. That would be such an encouragement for me. And if you're posting in other machine knitting groups, which I hope that you do, please add the link so that people are directed to my channel. That would just be such a great support for me, and I would appreciate that so very much. Please never add the row counts, just the link. And that would be something that I would just really appreciate so much. So thanks again for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Take care and have a blessed day. We'll see you in the next tutorial.